How's that for something crazy to see to start the vlog, huh? Alright, just finished up some stuff. I'm just on my way for my next destination now. Okay, and I got a response from DJI again about my Mavic Pro battery, and I think this confirms 100%. They use template responses usually, and I don't think, again, they read the emails from before for whatever reason. So I basically submitted them again, and they replied to me. And it says here, thank you for contacting DJI technical support. I apologize for the late response. We were going to create a case for you because there was a problem. Whatever that problem is on the system, please fill it out again. Yeah, so you can see they asked me for everything again. The name, the screenshots, they even linked me to this. Please make sure you click on this policy to make sure your battery is still under warranty. And the thing about this is, it's basically a thread. You have like all the information answers just by looking below. All my details are there. So this confirms again, it's just template responses. Oh, I guess to me, I don't mind really, but I can see why a lot of people were complaining about the support for it, because this is probably the reason. Like, I don't know what goes on in the back end, but hopefully as a company, they will look into this. This article was actually really interesting, I thought, about the drones, because right now, I believe, like most of the drones, they are being controlled by radio controlled, like the frequencies and all that. And this one's talking about controlling the drones through LTE, like an LTE signal. Like, I would assume that's kind of dangerous in many ways, like if your connection dies or is not as far reaching, but according to this, it says a drone can go as altitude as high as 400 feet, and they're still getting, quote, comparable coverage. That'd be kind of interesting. So would that mean, for example, if you're flying the drone, you could just be anywhere in the world and you can activate it, if that makes sense? Unless I'm mistaken, but technically I believe that's what you could do. To me, that's kind of exciting, but I can see how for a lot of other people who are already afraid of drones, they'll be even more paranoid. Again, it just makes me think, like with stuff like this, with the advances, whether or not someday everyone's gonna have their own drone. Something like leave your drone at the supermarket or something like that and just click on your phone, it'll fly to you back and forth. So instead of parking stalls, we're gonna have drone stalls. Is that too far-fetched? I think that would be kind of cool personally. I don't know, even for the Mavic Pro, I'm too freaked out to try to fly that thing with just the smartphone mode. I always use the controller. I don't trust like just the phone by itself. I was also reading this drone story. It was kind of fascinating. I believe it had to do with a company that was using drones, and they were specifically trying to sell, I guess, the drones to farmers to manage things like cattle. So it's kind of cool because apparently the drone, it has like infrared. It can detect like the ID of the animal, so even at a distance it can pick it out, like which one's which at a distance. So I thought that was really cool. Although the one thing I was thinking about, how does that work exactly? Because to my knowledge, I think I heard a complaint before where apparently if you're, say, a farmer and you have your own cattle or whatever and you're using your drone to monitor it, technically Transport Canada considers that commercial use, so you need a license for it. So how could you technically sell the drone to those guys just to do that? So to me, that kind of makes no sense in that way. But again, to me, that shows how it's a little bit ridiculous in my opinion if a guy can't buy a drone and just use it on his own property like that to do whatever. It made me think too, because there was a section in that report, if I'm not mistaken, where essentially people with the livestock, they actually hire people to, like, I don't know, fly planes or something to take pictures of the area, like every once in a while, and it costs them $500 for one picture. That's why they're so excited to use the drone themselves. It kind of makes me wonder, what are the odds that a lot of this recreational drone laws and stuff is more due to that, where it's just a threat in many ways to people who how do you say, run a huge commercial operation, so they don't want people to be able to do it themselves as well? I mean, that's a huge difference. $500 for one photo? I'd rather buy the drone and do it myself. Oh, looks like a detour. The heck was that? Actually, that's kind of a sensitive topic I don't think many people talk about, but I actually hear a lot. Like for example, like in my opinion, like my personal opinion, when it comes to people flying a drone, like say here, if a guy has his own farm and wants to take aerial photos of his livestock or whatever to keep track of it, in my opinion, what's the big deal? Do you actually need like a license for that to do something so simple? But usually the argument I hear are people that have, like say an SFOC, they say, hey, because they had to go through it, they should have to go through it too. Where do you draw the line between, holy cow. Okay. Yeah, anyways, where do you draw the line between you got certified, for example, you went through all that training, okay, that makes sense, like someone else should have equal amount of safety, so to speak, to know how to operate like a drone. At the same time, how much of that is just saying you want people to go through that because you did, so it's kind of like, it's not fair in your sense, like you want them to suffer too, if that makes sense, to go through what you went through, even though it might not make sense. But it makes me think, how much of that argument is actually wanting people to go through a process so that they're safe and knowledgeable, if that makes sense, versus you just want someone to go through something because you went through it, even though it doesn't make sense for them. Like my Sifu for my martial arts actually gave me a really good example of this anyways, and that makes me think like kind of like a comparison. Like back when they did martial arts, like way back, a lot of people, they literally just stood there like in one stance because that's supposed to teach them how to do endurance, for example. And so can you imagine making someone do 1 year, nothing but, you know, just standing there doing it like a stance because you're supposed to prove yourself endurance-wise? That doesn't work nowadays with like people and their lifestyle. The funny thing with endurance, because even they admit, like I have crazy endurance usually when it comes to like doing those kinds of workout because I walk all the time. So in that sense, doing that doesn't make sense for me. So if I was to go to him and he was to say, okay, every time you come here, stand there for 2 hours for the whole year, and then I'll come back and teach you something basic afterwards. So if that is the mindset of some people who say, hey, if I went through it, then you should, in my opinion, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we should want to evolve it to a process that actually makes sense in many ways. Like saying in terms of license and qualifications, there's no way, like even I would personally trust an average user who just picks it off the shelf to go flying again near an airport or something like that. I would assume you would want training or some kind of backup and all of that stuff. That's a little different than someone flying in his own little barn, for example. Oh my goodness, guess what guys? I just got an email from DJI support. They replied to me sending in all my information. And based on this email, it makes it sound like they want me to send the whole aircraft back. Even this form, it looks like, again, like they think the aircraft is damaged, so I have to send the whole unit back? What's going on here? I mean, it even says here in the clause, please do not include any accessories such as batteries. That's the only thing that's wrong with it. What's going on? Did you guys not read the email? Oh my goodness. Oh, what to do? I just replied again, asking the person, are you sure this is accurate? There's nothing wrong with the aircraft. Oh, I guess it continues, huh guys? I guess with the support, it's one of those things where if it works, it really works well and efficiently, and when it doesn't, oh my goodness, like, it's everywhere. Okay, let's see how this goes again, alright? See you guys later.